Recording in progress.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for tonight's edition of HR Mentorship Learning Series. My name is Oluyemi Adeosun, and I'm excited to be the facilitator for tonight. Our topic will be looking at decoding the 2026 HR market insights from data for talent positioning. So, just for the benefit of one or two people who may just be getting to meet me or know me, sometimes it can be, slightly funny if you have to introduce yourself. So I've just leaving my brief profile for like 30 seconds so that you can take a look on your screen just so you get to know me. But let me quickly provide this background that research is part of the things I've been doing for a while now. And this year I decided to be more intentional with doing some research around HR and around seemingly everyday things around HR. And this is the very first edition. And that's why we're looking at 2026 HR market insights. So what I have done, I have gathered all the HR vacancies that I could find. So not the ones I could find. So it means there may be some HR data I didn't have access to, and consequently, I couldn't analyze it. Right? But every single HR advert for 2026. Now, somebody will say, well, why didn't you wait till end of Q1 or why didn't you wait till December? No, you need these insights now to either enhance, improve your chances of getting job or career advancement. You understand what I mean? And that's why I'm trying to say, while it is still hot, this is second week of February already. Let's see what the insights can provide us. So we're using these notes. This data was provided by various organizations. In fact, they didn't plan to provide data. They were just advertising their vacancies. I was the one that now took the pain to gather the information and then to analyze it. So the job market isn't just about listing vacancies. Sometimes it's a mirror. It reflects what the businesses, what they want, the employers, what they want. The employers here are people who hire for HR service. Just to reiterate, I analyzed only HR jobs. For more clarity, HR jobs here means a job that is for an HR professional that somebody in HR will apply for, somebody in HR will apply to. I hope that is clear. So this is not analyzing different kind of jobs for different roles or different positions. This is strictly HR. One of the things we try to do in HR mentorship is we are the HR for HR. We try to support each other. So when you do some analysis, you are able to tease out insights, you're able to tell a story, you may be able to unlock opportunities or challenges. All right. And this is what I've endeavored to do here. I did a report, a 4-page report, which was circulated yesterday. If you've not seen the report, I can re-forward it. And if you remind me at the end of this session, once I stop sharing, I will upload it to this Zoom chat so that you can download it directly. I initially did not plan to do a webinar. I just did the report and circulated it. One of our colleagues said, "Oh, Oluyemi, I think you should, discuss this, so to speak, research finding, so that some people, I don't want to say who don't like to read, but some people will draw more insights from listening and than just reading. And then we're also trying to extract more value from the report. And then other people too can weigh in, share their opinion, perspective, and contribute to the discussion. So this webinar is leveraging on raw HR data. One of the clear message that we have picked very quickly is that the era of pure administrative HR profession is becoming oblivion. Organizations are no longer just asking for support, which they need. They are demanding partnership, they are demanding strategy, and they are demanding measurable business impact. I want that to sink in. Yes, they want support. We all want support. Businesses want support. But in addition to the support, they are demanding partnership. They are demanding strategy and they are demanding measurable impact. So you get this clearly. On HR mentorship, about 2 weeks ago or less, we did a book review on strategy. It's on my YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Oluyemi Adeosun. Oluyemi Adeosun. So this one way to start, just put Oluyemi Adeosun strategy, put it in YouTube. You will see that if you didn't join that book review, if you've not watched that session, I encourage you, please go and watch it. All right. So let's forge ahead and let's see what some of the data is telling us, and also much more importantly, what we must do based on what the data is saying. All right. So one of the first things that jumped at me very quickly is that don't just be in HR. In other words, don't just be a generalist. Now, why I know that generally speaking, there are two categories of HR professionals, generally speaking, not absolutely speaking. We have the generalist and then we have the specialist. However, even if you are a generalist, you must still specialize in one or two things. A specialist means somebody who is super prolific, super proficient in one subdomain, in one domain. I know that some people say, oh, I am good at everything, especially more senior HR people who are like head of departments, HR director, head of HR, because they have oversight over all the entire value chain. But even as at that, of the 20, 30 HR value chains, there will be 3, 4, 5 that is your bread and butter, that you have cutting edge advantage over other HR practitioners. All right. So the market is sharply moving away from generic HR manager roles. There are now increasing demand, and also not just increasing demand, there's also premium compensation for specialized strategies. Okay, so once something is general, and I don't mean any disrespect, I don't mean in any condescending manner. Once something is general, what happens is that many people will be able to do it. Once many people can do something, it will be priced averagely, moderately. Thankfully, I'm an economist to PhD level. And in economics, one of the things that confers value on anything is what? Is scarcity. If gold could be as available as sand or stone, it will no longer be gold from a precious perspective. Now, some of the auth rules, based on the analysis that I did, all right, from all the job vacancies in HR for 2026, all right, note 2026, I didn't account for 2025 or earlier, just 2026, include performance and reward partners, right? Strategic HRBPs or HRBPs, talent and organizational development managers, and then learning and design specialists. Quick question, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on this call, if you are following this conversation, of these 4 or 5 auto roles, I'm the one that classified it as auto based on the data that I got, you understand? Which is your area of specialization? 2, if you don't have any area of specialization amongst them yet, which will you be interested in and pursuing? All right, so is it performance? Is it reward? Reward, another word, so because we have synonyms for some words in HR so that some people are not thrown over. Rewards here could also mean compensation and benefit, payroll. Are we together? Okay, HRBPs, talents, development managers, organizational development managers, learning and design specialists. Another synonym for learning and design could be training and development. Okay, so I'm trying to use different words so that we don't eliminate any subcategory. All right, so some of the things we are now beginning to see in this underlying shift is that employers want architects who can design performance framework, build leadership pipelines, craft learning journeys that directly boost productivity. They just don't need somebody to run payroll. They need someone to prove the return on investment for HR initiative. Now, Look at this table. Okay, I picked this table directly from the reports I generated from the research. Again, this table is not fictitious. It is just an aggregate, a summary of the roles in January and early February. Early February, okay. Look at this salary range. The first salary range, 150 to 300,000. Now, let me quickly say this. Let me quickly say this because I'll also use this webinar to address a few things based on how I see it. You don't have to agree with everything I say, but don't let what you don't agree with interfere with the one you agree with. The one you agree with, run with it. Now, I've seen on HR platforms, including HR mentorship, where people will see a job vacancy, for example, and you see 150, which is the lower band in the first range here, 153. People say, oh, it's too small. How would you be paying a graduate this little amount? How will you be paying a chartered HR practitioner this little amount? I get you. I understand where you're coming from. But ladies and gentlemen, I can boldly say I'm one of the people that shares job vacancies consistently, pronouncedly in the HR community. I know others do it, but I am regularly consistent. I'm so consistent that some people will even chat me up. They'll be asking me for how much in my mind. Do you think I'm the owner of all the jobs that I'm sharing? I'm just sharing it out of interest and passion to help people. And I'm thankful for the privilege and opportunity because over time, some people now have HR vacancies, reach out to me directly, give me the advert that, bros, help us to broadcast. Now, if you see a job and maybe it's 150 and you are already earning 250, instead of you to complain, please look away. I say that again. Don't complain. Look away. Just focus on getting the kind of jobs that will pay you maybe double, triple, or whatever you think you are worth. Let me cite one real example. Incidentally, this example is for a personal friend who is on the HR mentorship. And this particular colleague, I've had the opportunity of working with him twice in two different organizations. Now, in the first organization, so we had known in the HR community generally, and it was on HR mentorship. So there was this is way back now, and this was for a senior role, way back for a senior role. And I dropped a vacancy that someone shared with me. All they could pay was 150,000 per month, and I dropped it. Do you know, like five people jumped on that message and say, Oluyemi, how would they be paying 150 for a manager, blah, blah, blah. So what is my typical stance to those kind of things? Look, if you don't like the job I'm sharing, that the pay is too small, the best way to counter it is to drop jobs with bigger pay, not to like criticize me. I'm not the hiring manager organization. Do you know that this HR person that I know personally calls me and say, Oluyemi, please, this 150,000 naira job, do you have influence there? Can you help draw their attention to my CV? I need this job. So I was taken aback. I said, brotherly, what's happening here? What do you mean you need this job? Now told me how for like 5 months he had been out of job. That 150 will be a lifesaver. Listen, any job you see and you think the money is too small, it may be a lifesaver for somebody. I'm not saying for you. Cut long story short, he got the job on merit, please. The only thing is, when I was collating my top 7 CVs, his was part of it. And the recruitment process went all the way, and he got the job. Guess what? Exactly 6 months later, they had doubled his money to 300,000. 18 months later, they had increased it to 750. If he had ignored the 150, he would not have risen to 750 in a space of 18 months. Ladies and gentlemen, especially if you don't have anything, don't let people's cho edge you out of your career growth. You can start on a low salary. That doesn't mean you'll be there permanently. That doesn't mean that is where you will end up. Though your beginning is small, your later end will what increase. And that's a reality. So in this range, I told you that I will say a few things based on some of these insights. You see 150 to 300. That doesn't mean you won't see some things lower. HR intern, junior HR officer, recruitment assistants, HR executive assistants, and so on and so forth. So these are generally common for entry level and support role. Then the next prevalent range that I observed based on the data I analyzed, we together, the salary range is 300,000 to 600,000. Again, you will notice that there are some things in the first category in this featuring in the second category. So you also have like HR officers, then you now have HR generalists. Generalists, you have talent acquisition, you have HR advisor, and then generally middle level HRBP. Now, let me quickly say this. The role HRBP is a role that is wide. What do I mean by wide? I mean, even in seniority. In some organizations, when they say somebody is an HR business partner, that designation is a manager or assistant manager or even senior manager. While in some organizations, it may be a supervisor. All things being equal, generally speaking, I'm not speaking in all context, but generally speaking, normally you shouldn't start your career in HR and your HRBP directly. You will have done one or two things, learned the ropes before you become HRBP, because by HRBP, you should have progressed. You are not a rookie. You have substance. Let me just put it that way. All right. And this range, you see here, most frequent range for core professional roles. By this level, you will see the insistence on things like certification or prior experience and so on and so forth. The third category or range is from 600,000 naira to 1.2 million naira. Note, all the monies you are seeing here is monthly. As written here is monthly. And for this range, you see titles like HR manager, senior HRBP, L&D specialist, plant HR manager, okay, especially for manufacturing. You may also see titles like head of HR. Okay. Now, note that word in bracket, SMEs. Okay. I remember a few years ago, I was in a compensation and benefit training. In that particular training, I was a participant. I was not the facilitator, but the facilitator was my personal friend. And we did something that we were like 40, and everybody, who are all HR professionals, and everybody, they are honestly disclosed their salaries. Do you know, in that particular class, we had people, HR, everybody HR, different organization. We had somebody earning 50,000 there. This was way before minimum wage was 70, please. We had somebody earning 75. We had 150. We had 250. We had 500. We have 750. We have 1 million. We have 1.5. We have 2.5. Do you know we have somebody earning 3 million per month in that same class? And all of us are doing HR. Again, I brought that to give us aspiration. Ladies and gentlemen, as we progress the rest of this year, please, you need to have audacity. You need to be bold. I am saying this on the premise of how sincerely, to the glory of God and to the credit of the support of everybody around me, with me. You see how we have built capacity in HR mentorship. For example, in the next 6 days, we have trainings every day. It is not because we are jobless. It's not because we don't have a life. February 14, we have webinar. And the lady doing webinar, she's married and happily married. Do you understand what I mean? But we can't build all this capacity and in your mind, you want to be earning 200. If your mind is 200, please double it to 400. If your mind is 400, double it to 800. You have substance. Anybody here, please, as much as possible, except you are in a toxic work place, don't be earning 450 and then they give you 500 or 550 and you take it. Tell them, I just say 800 or no deal. We deserve more, ladies and gentlemen. We deserve more. The third category, which is where I would like the average person to be, plus more. So you see here we have 1.2 million to 2.5 million plus. Plus means to infinity. Again, look at some of the job titles here: Group Head of HR, Executive HR Manager, Senior Talent Manager, Strategic HR Leader, and so on and so forth. Generally for executive, premium role, strategic group level, leadership, and so on and so forth. Now, let's look at another table that is a synopsis of some of the research. You will see here that there are specializations, and in no particular order, but these are the prominent specializations that I could tease out from the data I analyzed. Strategic HRBP or HRBP, generally speaking, minimum of 5 to 7 years. Now look at this. You typically see CIPM, SHRM, HRCI. Note this, what do you call it? The certifications are mentioned, even though I'll still show you another slide on it. Not any random aimless certification. Please don't waste your money in 2026. Follow who know road. Some of you are going to join certifications body that even me, that I'm an upcoming HR professional, I have better qualifications than the leaders. Do you understand? How can I? In CIPM, you can see that I can count 2,000 people better than me, more stronger. Do you understand what I mean? Don't just don't go and join a certification body that you are older than. Think now. You are older than the body. Is HR a new field? Is it AI that, if you go and join something AI and you are older than it, I can relate. How can you be older than the body that you are in and it's a people something? Please, let's reason together. I don't want to mention names, but I hope you have gotten where I'm coming from. Some of us, we lose big opportunities because we have the right thing, we don't have the wrong thing. You know, when they say when the sound is making uncertain sounds, nobody will respond. You are trying to make a rally battle cry, but you are playing disco. People would think it's a party. Please be serious, eh? You are seeing the kind of certifications I'm showing you here. Okay. Now, generally, industries like consulting, FMCG means fast-moving consumer goods. If there's anything you don't understand, ask. My father will always say, foolish question is better than a foolish mistake. Banking and then tech. Apart from that, we also have L&D and then talent manager. Okay. Some of the critical competencies required. Okay. Curriculum design. Please pay attention to this. Curriculum design, facilitation, training needs analysis. Then you also see a range of 4 to 8 years thereabouts. It's highly sought after in consulting, FMCG, media, financial services, and so on. Please, let me just quickly drop this. And I'm not trying to shake any table. That's in your organization, when you want to do training, you can go and call a vendor to come and do training. That doesn't make you an L&D person. I'll say it one more time for emphasis. I would like to reiterate that anytime there is in quote, a challenge or you want to upskill, they now call you, go and call so and so, and you call the so and so, either is an individual or a company. That doesn't make you an L&D person. Let me say this here, and I'm saying this very respectfully. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes I can be very passionate, and because I'm vested. What do I mean by vested? Because of the quantum of my life I've put into all of this, you understand, for your sake. And I get blessed and refreshed every time I see people make quantum progress. See, you see a vacancy, and they are asking for maybe an L&D specialist. You see, when you see the CV of an L&D specialist, you will know. It doesn't look like the CV of an HR generalist. It doesn't. If 50 people, when I say people, I mean HR people, send their CV for L&D role, less than 8 will meet the minimum requirement. The rest will be what? Desk rejected. Now, I know you may be a multi-potentialite. You have multiple talents. Please don't be lazy. You should have maybe a CV for HR generalist role, maybe a CV for HR BP role. By the time you are applying for specialist roles like L&D, comp and ben, you should sit on your CV. Please, you can't afford to be intellectually lazy or laid back in 2026. It won't fly. I'm not here for mediocre colleagues. You understand what I mean? It won't fly. If you are look at your CV, you need to now intentionally tease out all the L&D work you have done so that you have an L&D CV. That if any neutral person looks at the CV and you didn't write the word L&D and they say, what does this profile fit? Those are this L&D now. I hope you get it. Stop using generally CV to shoot your shots as specialist role. What will happen is, except by some providence or luck, and if you are waiting on luck, you are on a long term. All right. Performance and reward specialists, they focus on KPIs, compensation structuring, benchmarking analytics, and so on and so forth. It's not new, but at least relative to some other roles, is a niche. And structured corporations and organizations, FMCG, they require it. Let me also say here that these two set of roles, especially reward, you need to be analytical, you need to be numerate. I know some of us read English and came to HR, but you need to appreciate mathematics. And don't let me say many, a good chunk of HR people are happy to relinquish the payroll function to account of finance or to somebody else. Why? They feel it's too quantitative. Please, it's not rocket science. Anybody that can enter a public transport, and if the bus conductor gives you the wrong change, if you will know, then you know mass. If anybody on this call will go to the market, open market, and maybe you give the trader 1,000 naira, you buy a produce of 800 naira, and they give you 15 naira change, and you notice that no, my change is 200 naira, not 15 naira, you know mass. The rest is what? Interest. Then, of course, we have HR generalists, which is a lot of jobs vacancy also come out here, especially SMEs, small business. You know why? Because they want the same person to do everything, end-to-end HR operations, labor law, payroll, employee relations, so on and so forth. Consistently high, especially in manufacturing and SMEs. You can see where HR generalists are needed now, either because the staff strength is small or the company's ability to pay. In any serious organization, and when I say serious, I'm also talking about big. You can be serious, but you are small, which means you'll be evolving towards being big. You will know that HR specialization. If you don't specialize in HR, there are some depths you never get to. I remember when I was head of employee relations for 4 years in an organization. There were certain things in employee relations I never did until all in all, every day was employee relations. And it's normal. It's normal. Check medicine. You have general practitioners. You get. Then you now have pediatric surgery or orthopedic. Has anyone been to Igbobi before? The only thing they think about in Igbobi is about bones. Have you been to bones and plastic Bagada before? They just think about what? Bones. You know what it means to burn something. So fire, oil, plastic surgery. Those are the kind of things they do there. So you will never enter to some depths if you don't specialize. All right. Last but not the least, here, talent acquisition. I see many people to do this. Sometimes it looks like this is one of the easiest part of HR. Who are you? I'm a recruiter. And you now see people who are recruiters, sometimes they don't even have any certification. If that is your calling, it's okay. But I don't think anybody should want to be a recruiter permanently for the rest of their career, because almost anybody can do it. I'm not even talking about HR professionals, but I understand that there are intentionality around and technicalities around recruitment. I don't take it for granted. It's not an easy job, especially for technical roles, So you may need to have experience in bulk hiring, head hunting, applicant tracking system proficiencies, and sector-specific recruitment. For example, oil and gas recruitment is completely different from, say, if you are trying to recruit maybe for banks. So I have some recruiter friends. if you want to give them a recruitment brief, they don't take all kind of, it's not, oh, you have vacancy, let me recruit for you. That's a generalism. There are some people, they only recruit oil and gas or financial services because they built a robust network and relationship. And I'm not talking about entry-level recruitment because for entry-level recruitment, you can recruit for anybody. Where you know if you are a recruiter is when you are trying to hire senior roles in the industry. You know, there are some roles you will advertise, nobody will apply. You need to call people one on one. Why? They may be in an organization that they are already comfortable. You understand? You need to end on. So this may be important in consulting, retail, tech, oil and gas, and so on and so forth. Again, these are insights. I'm sure one or two people say some of these insights is common sense, no problem. But it's good to validate what you know based on data. Then certifications came out very strongly. Many jobs had certification. CIPM, that's Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. That's the only Nigerian certification I saw. Only. Emphasis on only. All almost 200 jobs I analyzed. Only CIPM that is Nigerian. No. Some will have a combination of CIPM and HRCI. So HRCI could include, for example, SPHRI, GPHR, and PHRI. You understand what I mean? Or SHRIP, SHRM. All right. So you will see that, especially for senior roles, is prevalence. You know, and in some instances, you will see words like mandatory. In some instances, they are subtle. They will say desirable. But let me tell you something. Almost 70% of the time, when they say something is desirable, they will first consider all the applicants that have that desirable thing before they consider applicants who don't have it. They must have run out of applicants or candidates who have it before they consider. All things being equal. I said 70% of the time. I didn't say 100%. I know someone will say, no, I got a multinational. I don't even have any HR certification. There's a friend of mine. I won't mention his name. I beg you. They say, do you know so-so? He went around in HR and he succeeded. He doesn't have any certification. This person you are quoting, the person is 55. You are 21. You want to mirror your life against somebody who lived in an era that is not your own. They play. So, certification is one of the consistent filters for career advancement. I didn't do much, but I did a little. I have CIPA, I have SPHRI, I have GPHR, I have an MSc, I have an MBA, I have a PhD. Ladies and gentlemen, these things are not just academic. They build competence and capacity. The last 2-3 jobs I've done, they couldn't advertise them. They reached out to me direct. Do you understand what I mean? You must build your capacity to a level where you are not, I was about to say Bumbuiro, I won't say that. You are not a masses kind of person. Okay? So it's very important. There are also some very sector-specific experience. You know, FMCG. Most of the time, if you have worked in an FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods, you know, those Unilever, Reckitt Benckiser, and so on and so forth, Kumasi Dog, Cowbell, those are examples of FMCG. There may be smaller, less popular ones. You know, you also have some of them, you know, this Chinese, Lebanese, all those kind of things. Once you have worked in one, it's easy to, if you want to change jobs and transition to other FMCGs. But it can be very difficult to break into an FMCG if you've never worked there. It may be very difficult sometimes, especially at senior level. You know, at entry level, they will train you. You can enter almost any industry at entry level once you meet the minimum requirement. So FMCG, banking, manufacturing, education, healthcare, and so on and so forth. So it's very, very important to also pay attention. Now, the industry you are in also determines to a large extent the salary range or the salary you can earn. And in industries, there are also sub-industry. In industries, there are sub-industry. Let me use 2 industries very quickly. So in banking, We have microfinance bank. A microfinance bank will not pay like a tier one bank. You also have, apart from the microfinance banks, you have all these finance houses. They are in the financial sector, but they are not necessarily banks. Maybe registrar, you get, and so on and so forth. They pay differently. Even so, maybe a registrar may not necessarily pay like a stockbroker. So you will see that each of these arms of in the financial sector have slightly different paying patterns. And then in the bank, you now have like the tier one banks, just to mention examples, in no particular way, like Access, GT, you understand? If you are head of HR in a microfinance bank, you may not necessarily be any what an analyst in a tier one bank will be any. Real life, I won't mention the name, I won't mention the bank. An HR mentorship member, my friend, junior friend. I don't like calling people my mentee. Some people do that. Like professional colleague. He was in a dilemma just 4 weeks ago. It was a New Year dilemma. He was the head of HR in a startup small firm. And then he got entry level analyst in a bank. And the salary of the analyst was bigger than the salary of the head of HR. If you want to know the one he picked, speak to me later. How did I convince him? I didn't convince him to take the entry level job because the entry level role was paying. I asked him, this person had like 4 or 5 years experience, all in SME, all in startup. Are we together? I asked him, how many people are in the HR department where you are working? Say we are just two, he the head and one support staff. Say in this bank that you are going, like how many HR people do they have? Said to the best of his knowledge, they're almost like 20. So you'll be one of 20, right? And then you will be at the base because entry level of 20. In these two organizations, where do you think you will learn more? If I were you, is where I will learn more that I will take. Said Dr. Adeosun, you just gave me clarity. That's how he took that job. I know some people who know him would think he took that job because it was maybe 100K more. No. Who are you going to become? What are you going to become? Ladies and gentlemen. Another thing that I saw as some non-negotiable requirements in many of the HR vacancies that I saw, many had hybrid option, many had only on-site model. So you see that there are some, I don't want to say traditional business owners, they will say on-site only. Again, there's no need to fight with anybody. But especially if you two are looking for a job, you need to be what? Flexible. If there are no special reasons, why do you want to be working from home? I'm not talking about a nursing mother or a nursing father. If there are no special reasons. Of course, if you are already working remote, you may say that for you to change jobs, it must be another job with remote opportunity. But if you don't have job, I met somebody recently. The person, an HR professional, didn't have work, then got a job that was on-site and still didn't take it. I'm like, well, I thank God for the people who dash you money. They are the ones I blame. It's not you. Do you understand what I mean? When you don't have work, you shouldn't be choosy or selective. You can now get the work, you are doing it on site. And if you later now get a remote work and you move, I can understand. But you rejected an on-site work for nothing. No. It's not as if you had two opportunities. One is hybrid, the other is on-site. You now chose the hybrid over the on-site. You chose, I will just continue to search for work until I find a remote work. And you don't have any special consideration. It's not as if you have a mother that is sick, that you are so. Do you understand what I mean? It's not as if you have a child. Please now, let's be serious. This 2026. The other thing I saw here, okay, so generally speaking, you'll see that most consulting firms, and this is before COVID, the KPMG, Senate, all those people, they always had ability to work remotely for like forever. The reason is so that I also appreciate them. One, all of them are the tier one consulting firms, are global firms. And two, they spent a lot of time on client sites. So when you're on client site, you are not in your office and you are working for your office, even though you may be working on a client project. So the discipline to work independently or remotely is super high in consulting based on the nature of assignment projects that they deliver. Are we together? Another non-negotiable requirement or parameter that I saw, this one I don't really like it. You still see quite a number of jobs. They're either specific with age. A few postings included age limit. A few postings also included gender preference. Yes, I also share. When I say I share, when I get job, I don't edit it. I don't add to it. I share as seen. Sometimes I share out of concern. Maybe if not that I'm busy, I'll have tried that. Anytime I see a job vacancy, I'll read it. I remove anything like age or gender, any kind of things. You see, these are practices we must stop as HR practitioners. Okay, these practices are at odds with HR professional ethics, but it's still rampant. You know how we now code it? We now have a sexy approach. We now say female only for gender balance. What were you waiting for that you became gender unbalanced in the first place? Even if you are looking for a female only or you are looking for a male only, you can keep that to your heart. I know what you are trying to do. You want only women to apply so that if you shortlist 5 candidates, all the 5 will be women. Come on now. You won't get away with that in some clients. And these are some of the global best practice. Even if back end, you will select or shortlist only a certain gender, let that be known to you. Don't put it, we are HR. We should now not be recruiting and then we are demonstrating bias. Not just recruiting, we are now recruiting HR role, and we are still biased. Are we together? So it's very pertinent that we look at this. All right. So certification is no longer a luxury. The certificates, it is one of the keys to boardroom door. In other words, to senior roles. Senior roles, more responsibilities, more perks, more allowances, and so on and so forth. Across nearly every middle to senior role, you see mandatory filter of either CIPA, SHRM, or HRCI only. Quality is guaranteed at the minimum level. I know somebody on this call will say, oh, I know somebody that is certified and the person doesn't know anything. I am certified. Don't I know anything? Stop looking for the outliers. Stop looking for the minority. You are looking at the right. What do you look at? You look at role models. Somebody can say, so it may be debatable. Am I this good because of all my certifications or qualifications? You will never know because I have it. On a lighter note, somebody was asking me not too long ago, he said, only Emmy, and between an MSc and an MBA, which one should I do? I said, bros, do the two, one after the other. I did the two. I don't want to be in a situation where you say, if only you had an MBA, oh, I get that. Oh, if only you had an MSc, only if only you had a CIPM. Only if only you had a foreign, I get everything. If you don't want to help me, just tell me you don't want to help me. But what are you going to ask for? I get that. So for career progression, it's very important. It's a baseline. Get it if you don't have. And if you have, please, if you are supposed to do, there's what they call continuous mandatory training, education. For example, CIPM, we have HRPL, human resource practitioner license. Be renewing these things. Don't say nobody will ask you. Okay, it will help you. So, we've discussed the salary I showed us in the table, the entry junior roles, 150 to 300K, very basic, can hardly take you home depending on where you are. Also showed us for strategic, more senior roles, which shows where you should move towards. The disparity in this salary is not about age. It's about impact, what you can bring to the table, and the marketplace places a premium, okay, on business integrated HR leadership that drive growth rather than administrative personnel management. Another thing that stood out for me from the analysis that I did, that teased out was the geographic distribution of the jobs. Again, just to reiterate, is based on the HR vacancies I got and have access to. So it's my data, you understand? So I could not analyze a data I didn't see or job vacancy that didn't get to me. So that means they exist. But this is what I saw. These are the four clusters that I saw a lot of jobs, generally speaking. So one is Lagos Island, Lekki, VI, Ikoyi, and some of the notable industries present there: consulting, financial services, fintech, oil and gas, real estate, luxury, retail. You also get to see a lot of premium and strategic roles. Why? Many organizations have head offices, headquarters on the island. That's just it. The second cluster that I saw is the mainland cluster. Ikeja, Oregun, those kind of axes in Peju, and we have a lot of consulting, manufacturing, hospitality, healthcare, and general corporate roles. You now relative get to have a high volume of what operational and mid-management roles. Now, let me take a breather here. I know some people. I can't work on the island though, it's too far. I can't work on the island though, traffic. My people, I can understand if in a phase of your life you can't work on the island. Note, a phase of your life. Let me use an example. Maybe you're a woman or you're a man and you have children that are toddlers. And you now prioritize those toddlers to say, my baby is just 2 years old. If it goes to crèche when I'm at work, before I leave Ireland and get to, at least let me be there as a good father, as a good mother. I can understand. But not, I have met men and women. Their last born is in university. They are still saying, I can't work. But you can work in Geneva, Switzerland. You can work in Washington, D.C. Come on now. Sometimes the choices we make, it can be a geographic choice that, no, if it's not mainland, I'm not doing. You may be saying, I am not doing a big job. You will be praying, oh God, give me a better job, give me a better paying job. But you have locked God on geography. Meanwhile, the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, including island and mainland. Again, I've not said geography should not be a consideration. It should be for a phase of life. It shouldn't be all true. Okay. Maybe if you are very elderly and old, you are now 58. Okay, I can understand, but you are 25, you are 30, you are already saying you can't work on the island, you can't work on the mainland. Excuse me. Even when you get to a level, you are going to be like a national or a global HR professional. You can go to Abuja, Port Harcourt, Kano, Ghana, South Africa to work. Some of us need to have international exposure, please. And I'm having this session to open the minds of one or two people. Some people, their breakthrough came, but they are in Lagos. The job was in Abuja. You are not married or anything, yet you couldn't go to Abuja. Exactly what's vice versa too. You are in Abuja, you got a breakthrough job in Lagos. You are telling me that you don't like traffic. Hello? Hello? Does Dangote like traffic? Is he not in Lagos? Please, let's be serious, please. All this rough play, let's stop it. Now, I beg. The third cluster, okay, that I noticed here in around Lagos too, or Ogun State, depending on. So we have industrial areas like Agbara, places like Ota, Shagamu, those kind of places. You see a lot of industries manufacturing. And you should also understand why manufacturers are typically on the outskirts of Lagos or in Ogun. It's because they need land mass for their production and activity. Then thankfully, I saw a lot of Abuja jobs. Okay. When you see jobs, please pay attention to this. When you see a lot of jobs around industrial areas like Agbara, Ikorodu, typically you will see manufacturing, you will see FMCG, you see industrial. You won't see a consulting firm there. I hope you are seeing some of these patterns I'm trying to tease out. So the jobs in this industrial area, they will demand for IR. What is IR? Let me check. Anybody, what's IR in the chat box? Okay. Anybody? My Abito said there was a time I said I can never work in Lagos. See me here, 9 years, and I don't want to leave Lagos again. God bless you. Do you see that? Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I like that. Many people who have said they can't work in a particular environment, maybe something in quotes beyond their control took them there. 2, 3, 4 years later, they're having a time of their life. It's not as chaotic as you think. Or some people say, oh, the city is too calm for my liking. 2, 3 years later, you will settle in that calmness and you'll find fulfillment in it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you also for responding to the fact that higher is industrial relations. So you are applying to jobs in those areas. You don't know anything about labor law. You don't know anything about industrial relations. Please, let's be serious. My brother, chop knuckle. I owe you one bottle. When next we see in Abuja, well, that is if it is in Abuja, we see. My brother, Ali Ibrahim, he said, me, I can work anywhere. If you have good opening in Sokoto, holla at me. That's the mindset of a professional. Where is in quote Tinubu working today? Isn't it Abuja? Was he not based in Bodino in Lagos before? If you want to be president of Nigeria, you will go to the FC. Do you understand? If you tell me that, oh, you can't do certain kind of work that don't have certain condition, I can relate. But geography is now your, if P&G is in Ota and you get a P&G job and you say, I can't live in Ogun State, P&G is global. If Microsoft sets up a warehouse in Ebonyi or sets up a plant in Ebonyi and Microsoft hire you, you will tell me that, oh, I can't live in Ebonyi. Come on, come on. I'm not saying you shouldn't have taste. Your taste should not be on pedestal things. Your taste can be maybe around values. It can be around the kind of competencies you build. Not, oh, I can't work in Ikorodu. What's wrong with working in Ikorodu? What's the problem? If a good job is in Ikorodu, take it. You can, as somebody got a job somewhere and said, I can't work there. I said, why? He said, my house is. I said, what do you mean by your house? Are you the landlord? He said, no, I mean the house I rented. And I said, and you are saying my house. Please, only landlords are permitted to say my house. Run down the tenancy, rent house in the new location. Don't lose good opportunities on pedestrian things. I hope one or two people have been liberated. Ayodele Francis says here, this is my second year in Port Harcourt. I never imagined myself living Edo State. Can you imagine? Oh? Is Edo far from Port Harcourt? Edo that is beside rivers, but I get you because Port Harcourt will have its own peculiarities, his own characteristics. Again, some of us, we are used to our comfort zone. See, Uncle K from this brown city roof, he said, I didn't think I could settle in Ibadan. See me now, I'm now a community ballet. Don't worry, they will add you to the people who can become the the king in Ibadan. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for dropping our comments. All right, I really like it. I hope we'll find this conversation helpful and meaningful. Do you know why? Some of us, some jobs won't even bother to apply. Once you see the location, just apply first. Go through the interview process. You may be surprised. Your breakthrough may be in a different geography. All right. So your dream role might not be on the island. Generally, opportunity is decentralized. Just like your dream role may be online, maybe offline, maybe like. I agree to a large extent, Lagos still remains the epicenter. Consistent high quality demand is emerging nationwide. For Abuja, you have a lot of federal government related jobs. You have a lot of NGOs. Even talking about NGO, people who are big, and I'm sure my friends from Abuja can testify. Many NGO jobs today is not even Abuja. It's like Maiduguri, Makurdi. They call it one name. Is it North Central, North East or something? Nasarawa. But you say, oh, I want NGO, but you want to be in Lagos. Are you serious at all? I'm not saying you can't get, but where would you really have the NGO experience? You may need to go to the theater of war, maybe for a portion of your life or career. I'm not saying do all your life there. I have a friend who was in an NGO in Makurdi, from Makurdi to UK. And it is because of the experience he got in the NGO in Makurdi. Did they see people with NGO experience from Lagos? You know, there are some projects, maybe you are saying help the homeless, help the this, but you are in VI. That's why you are doing your own NGO inside AC. Okay. I hope some of these things make sense. So, aha. Oh, Madam Princess, God bless you. And I can testify to this. She's one of our regular veterans and partners on this program here. She was working in the United Kingdom, and Lagos had haunted her. You know, people want to jack, but she was already abroad, her family, children, everything. Lagos went to her and appealed to her. I can imagine pay cuts. You know, anybody earning pounds now, no matter how much they give you in naira, she came back sacrificially and out of sheer heart. So please, some of us want to go to the abroad. Some people are coming here. It's about career. There are people that for your next level in your career, you need to go abroad. But some people too, for their own next level, they need to come back home. All right. My brother here, I won't mention your name in this instance, but I will read your quote. Say when my bank was liquidated in 2006, okay, a bank called me in Lagos, and I told them that I can't work in Lagos because I was heading credit and marketing in Port Harcourt, and they needed me in the HQ in Lagos. That was where I missed it, and it is still affecting me till today. God will restore you, my brother. Thank you for your vulnerability. I hope you are getting this thing. You know, part of what I do unpaid is career counseling. Many senior and elderly people, relatively I speak to, who didn't break through in their career, they will always look back at one job opportunity or one redeployment. It can be an internal redeployment. Maybe they are working, they were in Osogbo. They now redeploy them to Abuja. They say, no, 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 I'm not going. That is how they miss becoming MD. Because they missed one redeployment, internal in the organization, or they got a job. They say, they were just focused on comfort instead of on growth. Okay, please, a word is enough for the wise. Understand the unique labor ecosystems of any region you are. Okay, so it can be Kano, can be Bauchi, can be Plateau. Before somebody will say, only Emi didn't mention our area. Your area didn't feature in this particular report. That's why. No offense, please. Flexibility is a big deal depending on who is looking at it. But like I said, we should be focused on value. Can you deliver value? I've seen people who work in places that they allow hybrid, but intentionally they go to work as often as possible. Do you know why? There are some opportunities. The MD will just look out. Now, person where they see, they go call you. Before they will pick phone to call you, they have executed with the person who is visible. Part of visibility is also physical visibility when you can. When you can. So even if you are doing 100% remote, except your company doesn't have physical presence, brick and mortar. If your company has brick and mortar, and you notice that maybe like MD, CFO, they come to the office, please borrow yourself break. Once or twice a week, be showing. Let them say, we saw you at work. To say, no, I like coming to work. Do you understand? Some opportunities can be spontaneous, can be unintentional. You will miss it. Out of sight, it's out of mind. It's not everything you pick phone and call. There are things that just because you were having lunch together in the canteen, an opportunity will be broken for you. All right, I already spoke about age limits, gender preferences. We should continue to champion inclusive practices based on capability, not chronologically, that's age or gender. All right. So your 2026 career playbook, as I attempt to begin to wrap up, choose your lane, be intentional, select a specialization, and then go deep. Some people may select, so when I say select a specialization, you can also do two duals. So maybe you are L&D and then performance. But when you are selecting two, make sure they are complementary. You understand? Okay. And there are people here, they are specialists in one. Add one more to it just to broaden you up. So maybe you are something and then you add AI. All right. Always have options. For example, look at me now. By the grace of God, I have a dual or tripartite career lane, if I can put it that way. So in my career is HR, I can do it anytime, anywhere, professionally. Academia or research, anytime, anywhere. That's a dual career. You understand what I mean? In HR now, I can ask all of you that what do you think are part of my core competencies? I'm sure you will guess that L&D must be there. Otherwise, we wouldn't have done 542 webinars, all available on the YouTube channel, Oluyebi. If you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Are we together? You will be passionate about it. Law, labor law, I'm passionate about it. Policies. Okay, so go deep. Get certified if you are not, or add any relevance. So if you have only local, get more international. If you also have international, get the local one. You don't know where some of these things will count or matter. Your CV, please. Many of us need to rewrite our CV, especially the senior people. Especially, young people are, because they are more actively looking for job, chances are they send their CV, submit their CV, and probably they get feedback. We senior people, until somebody say, bros or madam, bring your CV, they are hiring. You will now see that you've not touched your CV in 2 years. You see, your CV, you don't have a CV, updated CV because you are looking for a job. You have it because you are updating your CV should be like your personal performance tracker. Get that? The first reason, especially if you're a senior person, you have a CV, is not because you need a document to submit to get a job somewhere. No. Your CV should be mirroring your mid-year appraisal, quarterly appraisal, NPR, and reflecting the progress you are making. Such that if you now need to submit your CV at any point, P or time T, you understand, you can customize it. Please, let your CV be less of your CV should be less of like just job description to outcomes, to results, to accomplishment. Use data, okay? Reduce time to hire by, saved naira and kobo, brought in revenue, tie it, all right? Again, you need to network strategically. Engage in professional communities, okay? CIPA, go for national conference, go for state conference, go for chapter programs, HR mentorship. We still did hangout last Saturday. We were like 70 in Lagos. I had so much fun. But in the fun, people get jobs, people get ideas, people get solution. Please, me, I don't go for hangout because it's convenient. I go for hangout because I have to go. Because success is not negotiable. So network. Don't just go, and some people make this mistake. They will come for the hangouts and then sit with 6 people that they're already friends with. Come on now. I'm not saying you shouldn't interact with people you are friends with, but make up your mind to add 5 to 10 new friends, meaningful relationship. You need to be intentional. Benchmark your worth. Okay. You've seen the salary range I've showed you based on the job vacancies. So, negotiate more confidently. I know that some of us, maybe we may be in a toxic environment. So, in fact, we don't even mind the pay cut. But be confident. Know your worth. Who was telling me? Somebody was telling me on phone today that some of us, maybe because of the way Nigeria has treated us, life has treated us, some line managers have treated us, some business owners, we now feel what's half of what we really want. I'd rather you err on exaggerating your worth than err on understating your worth. You deserve more than you are earning. Or everybody on this world, including me, you deserve more. Some people, they will say, they will give you 1 million. They will say, I will faint. Come on, people are earning 5 million. Again, to keep us in perspective, if you think your money is big, just ask your contemporary who is doing your kind of job in US or UK. Convert their dollar or pounds to naira. You will see that you are not getting paid at all. You are on allowance. Do you understand? Benchmark your worth. And then if you need to build on your confidence, some of us need to do, what do you call it, public speaking classes. That's why I've been a Toastmaster since 2009 and I'm still a Toastmaster till today. you know, if you cannot talk, you won't be able to negotiate. You won't be able to attract or close out, consummate certain job career opportunities. We will tell some people, come to HR mentorship, come and do webinar. Nah, and people don't get it. See, I so love teaching to the extent that I teach almost every day. I teach in 2 or 3 business schools. Every day, I'm teaching somewhere. Every day. I can single-handedly be teaching HR mentorship class every time. But people will say, oh, Oluyemi, you know people. This is part of how I know people. Teaching, teaching. A lady, Deborah Tuton, she did a webinar, is it 2 days ago? On Sunday, she taught us on, let me remember the topic again, around HRIS and the likes. The number of people who have called me to collect her number, even I'm like, am I now Deborah's PA? But I'm happy to be a PA. I remember, is it last year or 2 years ago, somebody did a webinar on HR mentorship, and the person got 2 job offers. No interview, just from the webinar. 2 job offers. Please, you know something, teach other people. I got home from Ikoyi today at 7:28. I have not eaten lunch. I have not eaten dinner. In fact, I'm just remembering that I have not eaten lunch because I mentioned the word lunch. Any small inconvenience, you tell some people, come and do my day, say, November. What happened to next week? Do you understand? Why are you procrastinating it? Do you know that you may be procrastinating opportunities? So, upskill your team, yourself, do your skill gap, invest in training, paid, unpaid. Again, on HR mentorship, we have 528 HR domains. If you watch all, emphasis on all, you won't believe yourself in 3 months or 6 months. Anytime maybe you are doing exercise, you are jogging, just be playing. You can go to the playlist, keep listening, you get better, okay? Do you want to improve your specialization? Do you want to champion a function? Mentor other people. See, there's benefit in you being mentored. I won't lie. But there's also benefit in you mentoring. A lot of things have happened to me and for me because I was mentoring other people. I've seen opportunities because somebody brought an idea to me that I should cancel them. I canceled them, then me too and I participated. If they didn't think I can mentor, they won't bring that into my attention. And if I wasn't a mentor, I would not have been aware of that opportunity. Okay? Don't be selfish. Some of us, you will see a job vacancy. You will be hoping other people don't see it. Even jobs that I apply for, I share it on the group. The one I apply for, I share it. If it is your own, take it. If it's my own, let 2 million of you apply. You won't get it. Do you understand? Okay, so scrutinize your job description when, as HR professionals, when we're hiring. Let's eliminate non-inclusive language or barriers. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, things have changed. The traditional old path for HR, generally graduates, HR, HR officer, HR manager, but now you see here foundation, core HR operations, specialization. Do you want to choose a track? Talents, performance, learning, total rewards. Then you have to integrate business into whatever you're doing, data, manage stakeholders, solve business problems, and be visible. Let people know what you are doing. Blow your trumpet, okay? Strategic leadership, you can now become group head, HR director, chief people officer. Let me even add it, CEO, COO, so that we can call the shots, ladies and gentlemen. All right, the market is not waiting for you to catch up. Your value is directly tied to your ability to solve business problems, not just HR problems. Certification is your license. Specialization is your vehicle. Business impact is your destination. I'll say that again. Certification is your license. Specialization is your vehicle. Business impact is your destination. All right, so you need to be the HR professional who is analytical enough to diagnose, strategic enough to prescribe, certified enough to be credible, and courageous enough to what? To lead. Again, I'd like to say that one more time. It's sweet. I'm enjoying it. Be the HR professional who is analytical enough to what? Diagnose. Strategic enough to prescribe. Certified enough to be credible. Courageous enough to lead. So I'll leave you with this question. What is the one thing you will do next week or from today or from tomorrow to start aligning with this what's reality? I thank you most sincerely for joining this session this evening. I just had the idea just yesterday. Somebody suggested, Oluyemi, oh, I read your report. Why don't you do a webinar on this report? That was yesterday. It wasn't on my plan. And I checked HR mentorship calendar. Today was free. And I said, let's run it. Sometimes you don't plan to succeed. You just take the opportunity. It doesn't matter how the idea came to mind. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to get your comments, contributions. I've shared a few things. Anything you are inspired to say, that will add value to this conversation or to anybody on this call, please feel free. If you have questions, I don't really want question, but if you have, you can still ask. I will prefer comment and contribution. You understand what I mean? Or you just say, I mean, this is what I will do differently, like a commitment. That's what I'll prefer. Let me read a few things I've seen very quickly. Thank you so much, my brother, Uncle K. My brother said, I will be more open-minded. Even me too, I am more open-minded, sir. I'll even be more open-minded. Yes, thank you, Uncle K. Oluwatosin Baishia says, thank you. It's always a pleasure attending your webinars. Thank you for coming. I don't take it for granted in any way. So I'm checking if there are any raised hands so that you can say something. JK, would you like to see anything? You set me up.
Boss.
This is the person who set me up and prompted me to do this webinar. So please, let's appreciate and celebrate my sister, Ajoke Omotayo. Thank you. You see, yesterday and today I've done it. So the day I tell you to do something, don't tell me you will do it next month.
No
You
problem,
told
sir.
me
But
yesterday,
I'll
I
say
did it
something.
today.
Thank you very much, boss. I'll say
You're
something.
welcome. Go ahead, my sister.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, everybody.
Dr. Adeosha, I want to
Dr.
thank you
Adeosha,
so much for
thank you
all
so much
in us, and especially myself.
myself.
It has been a pleasure
It
to
has been
work
a
with
pleasure
you, to
to
know
work
you
with
over the
you.
years. I want to say something to those of us who are members of HR mentorship that we're actually sitting on a gold mine. I think about 2 years ago, I told doctor that what I do is I try to listen to something every day, and I still do it up till now. If I miss any of the lectures, I download them. My phone download is full of HR mentorship. So once I get home from the office and I'm cooking, I'm listening to something. If I'm in the traffic, I'm listening to something. I say jokingly that the people in my house, they know much more about HR too, almost half as I do, because they hear these webinars being played in the kitchen. They hear me listen to things around HR. And I realized that over time, what that has done for me is has created a reservoir of knowledge. There's still so much I don't know. But I realize that if we intentionally do embrace the learnings that we are getting here, there is no way you will remain the same. There are places where you will speak and people will come back to get your numbers. And then finally, I want to say that one of the reasons why Dr. Liemi has remained an inspiration for me is that he keeps learning new things. And recently, I've said to myself that beyond HR, anything that is trending that will be useful for this HR, let me do. And that has led me to also explore AI. In closing, I want to say that it is important that you realize that the opportunity that you are looking for, it doesn't have a date or time. If it comes and you're not prepared, you will be more full of regrets. So for me, I'd rather be prepared while I wait for the opportunity, and then I'll trust God to crown my efforts with a good success. So thank you, everybody. And thank you again, Dr. Adeosu. God bless you, sir.
Thank you for setting me up. Madam Princess, you have the floor, ma.
Good evening, everyone. My prof.
Good evening.
The lady said quite a few of the things that I would have said. To be honest, me, I'm retired. And one of the things that I have promised myself was that I was going to keep my brain going. I was going to took my nose inside anything that is HR related, anything training. I'm also a trainer, so I can't afford not to. And I will tell you, and everyone on this platform, one thing that has kept me ahead, well, not ahead, abreast, maybe more of like abreast of all the happenings in HR, the new things, because for us, we are old school. I was a public servant, so I wasn't really entrenched in the private sector HR practitioner, work, apart from what I did when I was in the UK. So joining this webinar all the time as much as I am able to. And the ones I can't, of course, I go and listen to it on the YouTube. I will just go there and listen. It has helped me to stay abreast, to know the new things, to get new insights, to have more learning. So I'm 64 and I'm not giving up. I'm not saying that, oh, I'm old now. It's okay. I don't want opportunity will meet preparation. That's what I'm doing. I'm a consultant now, so I really have to, keep abreast of things. And I cannot thank you enough, doctor, for this opportunity for me. I just sit down and I'm always listening. I have a little boy that my adopted son that I'm mentoring and I've been pushing him. He was on the program. I'm always sending things that I know are relevant to him. He's trying to break into the job market. He's just finished, his CIPM to get into it. He's just finished his application. Today he sent me, he was so happy that, oh, Mom, I've just been taken into CIPM. I said, good. Now there's a webinar tonight. You must join. He asked a question, but I hope you'll be able to answer it for him because he's trying to get clarity on the career path for him, and that's why I said tonight will be very, very, instrumental to how he will make his decision. So thank you so much, sir. And thank you to everyone that has allowed us to keep going on this. Those that come repeatedly to come and train us, to come and share with us, to share knowledge, to do all of this and pour a lot in us. I say a very big thank you. God bless you, sir. More grace. Thank you very much.
Amen.
It looks like you are muted, sir. We can't hear you.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Amen to your prayers. We'll take the closing remarks from Uncle K. Bestina Joju, please chat me up. I will add you tonight if you chat me up tonight. Today is your day of salvation. I saw your message on joining HR mentorship. I just dropped my phone number. Chat me up now, not tomorrow. If you chat me tomorrow, you go through the process. Uncle K, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adeosun. Tonight's edition of the webinar has been so impactful, so explosive, so touching, because it actually speaks a lot to me. It's as if you have come to expose some of my doings out here in public. I mean, the issue of that CV, sometimes you would think that when you add a lot of all the things that you can do, that it can actually help you to shoot your shot. So I've also learned from you that I think it's just best, if you are so grounded in something, then be very well detailed and be very well in depth about how well you are grounded in that field. It's like you're a consultant in that field. So thank you so much. And then a whole of other things. There's a way you do it, right? When you make your webinar, there are ways you demystify so many things that all of us now look at ourselves and say, so this thing can really be so, I mean, just there. It doesn't have to be so big again like that. But then we often overlook it. But there's a way you demystify it, even the issue of gender inclusion, for gender balance and the rest of that. Sometimes it becomes like a blind spot for some of us. We never really, view it that way. But then, as I said, there are ways you bring this thing on board and bring some clarity to some obscurity, right? And I really thank you for that. You have just been exceptional. Thank you, my brother. Can't wait to have you in the battle. And we're gonna chop that amala.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been time well spent. Again, let me appreciate everybody who has joined tonight and also everybody who joined consistently and continually. Thank you so much to everyone who has also shared the comments in the chat box or who have also spoken this evening. God bless. This will be uploaded tonight on the YouTube channel, Ulena Adiosun. Like, share, subscribe. Good night.